Vice President Kamala Harris formally accepted her loss to President-elect Donald Trump. She defended her campaign as a fight for democracy and emphasized a peaceful transfer of power. But there was one moment that stood out to me.
Don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
The crowd was clearly emotional. Had she been victorious, it would have meant the first woman, the first Black woman, the first South Asian woman to hold the office.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest problems with Kamala, is that she was a bunch of stuff. She should have had a base of what she really is. If she's mixed with Jamaican or mixed with Southeast Indian, she should have embraced it. If she has African American blood in her, she should have embraced it and been clearer about what her heritage is and embraced it. And then you can go anywhere you want to go from there. But I don't think very many people can sit down and clearly explain the ancestry of Kamala Harris, nor does she want you to. Because her father is still alive, and there's information about her ancestry that needs to be shared with everybody so we're clear on who the hell she is. Because if you got Black women looking at her as a Black woman, that's false, because she doesn't identify with you. Going to Howard, joining a sorority, talking like Black people, being raised around Black people doesn't make you Black. And I think Black women were being and I can't just say Black women, because Black men as well, Black people are being led astray by the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is so slick and sneaky that they're even willing to put a Black face up there, but it has to be a Black face that they trust. You cannot be a defiant Black. You cannot be a Black person who doesn't go in lockstep with the Democratic Party and think you're going to get a nomination just because you're Black and you got all the Black support. You can have all the Black support you want, but if they don't trust you and know that you're not going to get in there and do something crazy, and Kamala has proven that, and so did Obama when it was his turn. And I just think the Democratic Party has run out of gas with Black people. If we don't wake up to this one and listen to her campaign, go back and replay all the videos from all the people who made them, all the news clips of all the things she said during her campaign, and you'll see that she was just campaigning. Half of that stuff isn't true. We're going to have another election in 2028 and on and to the break of dawn, because there is a stronghold on this racist country, and she's a part of it. She used the race card against Trump, but he can't be racist if his supporters aren't racist. You can't just say, oh, this racist ass guy, but he's got all these really, really nice people voting for him. Well, you can't say that. He's an American just like you're an American. Half the damn country like him just like half the damn country like you. But Black women and Black men, us Black people, we got to slow down. Ain't neither side doing shit for us, and we way too invested. Unfriending people, arguing and fighting, and I don't like to see Black women and Black men being fooled like that, because that's all it is. We're being fooled. We're giving our vote away for absolutely nothing. Kamala Harris gave us nothing, and I think when she came around with the I don't expect anyone's vote, I have to earn their vote, and then her effort to earn the Black man's vote was to send out Obama and to go and do what? Tell Black men that you're eligible for all the wonderful things that everyone else is eligible for. So I really didn't get her pitch to Black men. But we got to do different, you guys. We have to take our vote and make it count. After 60 years of nothing, now people are even saying, well, Black people don't deserve anything. Black people are like, what? We didn't get better, we got worse, and we don't deserve anything. So we need to correct that, and not by infiltrating the Democratic Party, not by becoming a part of that not by becoming like them. We need to be unlike them more than ever.
Within hours of the vice president announcing that she would seek the nomination after President Biden dropped out of the race, it was Black women who rallied to raise more than $1 million for her campaign. Black women were elated, but underneath those efforts was a persistent question. Was America ready to elect a Black woman?
No.
To its highest office? The answer was a resounding no. The vice president entered this race under extraordinary circumstances that we've not really seen in recent history.
And you guys have to realize, first off, Kamala Harris is not qualified to be president of the United States. So she lost on that front as well. But yes, it's a fact. The country is not ready to nominate a woman. Black, white, green, orange, purple. They just ain't ready for it. This country isn't ready for a whole lot of stuff. There's people in this country, honestly, in their hearts, believe that this country is ready to elect a black man. Nothing could be further from the truth. Obama is a perfect example of how close to a black man they're willing to allow in that office. A brown complected person who do every goddamn thing that don't make them uncomfortable. He said it himself. The country ain't ready for something. He feel like it make him uncomfortable. That's how you have to govern. And I believe that for the most part. But there are pockets within this country that require special attention and consideration only because the exact opposite has happened to these groups of people. And now it needs to swing back the other way and straighten them out. But it makes the rest of the country uncomfortable, which means the country is racist. That's just how you say it in nice terms, that they're not ready for it. But the real term is they're racist. Nobody likes to use that term because it's so harsh and it makes us sound like such a horrible country. But we never progress because we won't face facts.
She became the nominee effectively overnight. She went on to galvanize the party.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind.
She resuscitated a dying campaign under.
She did. And she resuscitated it from dead to like critical response, emergency help. I mean, it wasn't like she just elevated it to up and walking around. She was still down there getting worked on with CPR and stuff. Her campaign didn't just jump up out of the grave and go running laps. That didn't happen.
For President Biden, she needed to introduce herself to the American electorate, and she had to do
4 years of vice president, and she had to introduce herself to the American electorate, which means the American electorate didn't know who she was and was not clamoring for this woman. We weren't yelling for Kamala Harris. The Democrats were, because they saw an opportunity. Someone who was loyal, somebody they could slide in there, and someone who could get that black vote for them. And the female vote too. They thought they could yank some of that too. And the sympathetic males. And all that with Trump's just being a horrible person, you would think would work, but it didn't. It didn't work. Or Trump is the worst. God damn, he's bad. And she couldn't even. Yeah, I know. I just don't like black people being even in this conversation, because we come up like we had something to do with her losing. Do you see our numbers? Black men, 75%. Black women, 92%. For Kamala Harris, those are the numbers. To find a group, a racial group in this country that beat us, percentage-wise. You can't. But we still get people talking, just say nothing about us. If we, as black people, voted in the highest percentage for Kamala, every time somebody talk about black people and voting, like on CNN when they always putting people down, or on The View when they talking shit about people, or Charlamagne the God, wow. All these wonderful people who know so much about politics, but when it really come down to it, they don't know anything. Because all they do is put black people down and look at our numbers. Look at the percentages in which we vote for the Democrats. And people still find a way to write a negative article about black men not supporting Kamala enough. 75%. That ain't enough. If I was a candidate for any office and I could pull 75% of a district, of a constituency, of anything, I feel okay. I feel like, damn, 3/4 of it, that ain't bad. But to get 3/4 and then talk shit about them, that ain't enough. Boy, I tell you.
That while walking a tightrope as a sitting vice president. Some Democrats think that she ran an overly cautious campaign in which she failed to distinguish herself from President Biden. Some believe
she failed to because there's not much difference, and she really doesn't have an identity. She doesn't know who she is as a politician, because this is some fast happening shit. To go from Attorney General in California to 3 years in the Senate and then VP, just like they had a plan, and it happened fast. And now here we are running for president with 3 months to go to the election. That shit is just ridiculous. And it would be more deceptive than Trump and the shit that he's doing over there, in my opinion. If you compare the two, Trump has been impeached. Trump has been convicted. Trump has been in the American eye as long back as most of us can remember. In fact, a lot of you younger viewers probably only know Trump from the time you were born. You can't ever remember a time in your life when he wasn't there. Now, Kamala Harris, that's a whole different unicorn there. So this is the kind of stuff that they're trying to pass by you. Like, she's the person who's been out and above board and all over the place. And Trump has been in there. No, he's a very public person. Very, unfortunately, fortunately, however it works out for the man, he's a very public person. And Kamala Harris needs to be able to speak off the cuff with more genuine answers and not all of the rehearsed rhetoric, because it's so obvious when someone asks you a question and someone else asks you another question, and the questions aren't even similar, but your answer is the same to both of those questions. That's just rehearsed bullshit.
that she represents a party that has increasingly failed to resonate with a new generation. But for others, it affirmed what people believe to be the worst truth of this election. This country would rather elect a man with 34 felonies who had repeatedly disparaged women and people of color, who peddled in lies and vowed to use his political power to punish.
I just don't think that a lot of people, and especially in my the circles that I swirl around in, I have noticed that a lot of people don't seem to understand that Trump's convictions and all Trump's woes since he got into the political scene there, the impeachments, the investigations, all that stuff. Most people who like Trump look at that stuff as drummed up bullshit. They look at it as false investigations, false impeachments, false everything. And that they're just going after the man because he's an outsider and he's exposing them. And, that's their take. Now, if you don't believe that, you believe the other. But I'm just letting you know, everybody don't hate Trump. Everybody don't believe that he's the worst person to ever walk the face of the planet. Some people believe that he is being targeted. And those two assassination attempts, or definitely that one assassination attempt, does not help. And the way and the rhetoric that Kamala Harris and her campaign was using on the, to me, to tell a real true-blooded American who bleeds America, who may not be the most politically connected person, but they believe the party that they believe. And you're telling them that their democracy is in jeopardy and that it's just going to crumble and our lives are never going to be the same again. Somebody who might not be the most settled person might take that as a threat to their livelihood and their families and try to do something about it. So I think we should be careful when we use that kind of rhetoric in campaigns, because it obviously, if not the rhetoric from the Democrats directly, that kind of rhetoric culminated in a assassination attempt. That's some terrible shit when you think about it.
His enemies rather than elect a qualified woman of color.
And real quick, she ain't qualified. People just that rolls off their tongue too goddamn much. Kamala Harris was not qualified for that position, and what qualifies you for that position is winning a primary. That's just it. That's part of the democratic process. And I'm not saying she's not qualified because she can't read or write or her level of intelligence. My interpretation of qualification for the job of president means running in a primary and goddamn winning it. That's just how it go. And even if Biden dropped out, when he dropped out and everybody come to this dumbass conclusion like, oh, we're 90 days out. We got nothing to do. We in a disarray. We just have to take Kamala. Nah, bullshit. We hadn't had the DNC yet. Go to the convention and figure it out there. That's how this shit runs. Everybody know. Y'all didn't want to do it. And it pisses me off that black people still fell for that bullshit and lined up behind it. As soon as they pulled that shit, we should have all walked away. They'd have been like, it didn't work. Man, it would have shocked them, you guys. Let's shock them. Let's show them we ain't that goddamn stupid. And that we understand politics like everybody else do. And that we don't give a fuck if she have concerts and pay these people and get all this false support and people up there crying. Y'all see that J-Lo shit? I'm going to tell you some shit. It looked like a whole lot of people who was walking across that goddamn stage for Kamala Harris might be defendants in that Puff Daddy shit. I mean, is this the character that she would stoop to? Just get any goddamn body who will come up and say something nice about your ass? We got to do better. Us, not her. Us, black people. We can't be falling for this bullshit. It make us look ridiculous, y'all. You don't think somebody looking in on this is going like, why are all the black people voting for Kamala Harris? She ain't the best candidate. She wasn't democratically nominated. I mean, what is it that we see that everybody else don't see? I don't know. I want to know.
Vice President Harris did not emphasize her race nor her gender during this campaign.
She didn't because she can't identify with a race of people on this planet, and she needs to. It's important shit that every time you get up, everybody know what they looking at. Southeast Asian, Irish, Jamaican, Jewish, and I don't know what the hell she is, but she know, and she need to identify with it clearly in interviews so people can get an understanding, and when they see her, they'll start looking at her for who she is and not for who she looks like or what they visualize her as. And not because she had all this fake African-American family outside of her real blood-related family. Talk about the blood-related family. Let us know where you come from and who you are and what you stand for and why you aren't for reparations. Hell yeah. We black shit. Why would such a high number of black people vote for you and you ain't for shit for them? So what if other people be like, reparations? I get it. And y'all might not be with that shit, but 100% of black people should be. And if Kamala Harris isn't, and that means she ain't willing to stand up in front of her bosses and say it, then fuck it, she ain't with it. And we are. We have to be. And we can't be for people who ain't.
Americans saw Kamala Harris as a chance to usher in a new generation of leadership. And for black women in particular, the Democratic Party's most loyal voting bloc, Kamala Harris's candidacy represented a vindication for the women who had come before her. And
that's a goddamn lie. I mean, the black women who have come before her. I don't know about the Hillary and all that bullshit, because I look at Hillary and Kamala. I mean, she even was dumb enough to go get Hillary to be an advisor on her campaign. Talk about stupid. Who in the fuck would have done that? Hillary Clinton, who got her ass whooped by this dude in 2016, and everybody, oh, he didn't win by that much. This dude came from a reality show and beat you by 2 votes. He whooped your ass. He should not be winning, and you're a lifelong politician, a former first lady, and all that other stuff. They saw through it, and they saw through it again. But black people ain't seeing through it. Why ain't our numbers looking more like what the vote come up? Like some of the blacks vote this way, and some of the blacks vote that way, so it kind of look like why are we voting so heavily for a party and individuals who don't give a damn about us, who ain't doing anything for us? That is my question. And I have so many people in my little universe who are always telling me that I just ain't paying attention. They doing all kind of wonderful things for us. I think we should have a marker, something that's universal that we all can use to gauge this progress that you speak of. And let's use the wealth gap. The white-black wealth gap. If it's here and here, let's look at it over the time from 1865 up to now. How's it gone? Has it been in and out? Have we ever flipped it upside down and went to the top? Hell nah. So we need to stop being so loyal to people who aren't loyal to us. We need to start looking at our lives in more of a business sense and quit being so social and being drawn into concerts and booty shaking and tears on stage and people speaking in tongues and all that bullshit. It's a lot of stuff about these people who are asking us to trust them and vote the way they're encouraging us to vote. And ethically and morally, those people don't even line up with us. So we need to not be following them.
Who had fallen short in their efforts. In her concession speech, Harris tacitly acknowledged this.
Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up.
As the Democrat...
Yeah, see, this is where we are, you guys. Just straight, even at the end, you can't give a concession speech that gives a concession speech that gives your people the right information. You still got these fools out here thinking that they fought for the right cause and repeating that bullshit that you made up just a few weeks ago. And they look at that like it's something that's in your core and your essence, and it isn't. It's some made up shit, recently made up, and a lot of these folks don't get it. And I think it's just such a sad and disingenuous thing for a politician to do. And then to go on and dance off. If they come back at you and ask you to do something else or appoint you to some other shit, you'll spring back into action and do it. But I doubt it. I think they're done with you, Miss Harris. You're done.
Democratic Party grapples with Donald Trump's victory. They have a lot of soul searching to do. And as has been the case throughout history, Black women will be central to that.
Don't you just hate that? They're just central to that. But they're not central to the Democratic Party. They use Black women way more than they use Black men. They put them in all these high-profile spots like they got them. Like they know, you know damn well you better not do nothing without telling us first. Or you better not do, you know what I'm saying? They are the attorney generals all over the country. You know, the ones that went after Trump. And now he's president again. Is anybody going to protect them if there's any backlash? Because it damn sure is probably going to be. I feel bad for Fannie Willis and the other lady. Her name escapes me right now, but why do these Black women have to be the ones sticking their neck out like that? Why are Black women always the face of the fucking Democratic Party? But the Democratic Party has never, ever, ever, ever honored and acknowledged Black women truly for what they're deserving. So either you with me or you against me. And it sounds like the Democratic Party is against us. And with that, folks, I'm going to wrap this one. We'll like, share, comment, and subscribe. And tell other people to subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.